Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the 13th Sunday after Pentecost. We are actually doing this on the 13th Sunday of Pentecost. Somehow I've gotten Friday was busy, Saturday was busy. Um, kind of doing online church makes it a little harder to get this done, and so this is post worship time on Sunday. It's in the afternoon with a full stomach. Should really be heading down for a nap, but it's a beautiful day, so we're going to go for a walk in a little bit. But this is the devotional for the 13th Sunday in Pentecost. We are looking at the Gospels. We've done. I used to do this in a more written format. Moved during coronavirus, moved to a more video format that I really enjoy doing. So this is from the Revised Common Lectionary for the 13th Sunday after Pentecost. So we're getting to about midway between Pentecost and Christ the King Sunday. And today we find ourselves in Matthew's Gospel again, just after last week Peter hit a home run. He said that you are the Christ, and Jesus said, "Blessed are you," and all this good stuff. So last week was really cool because Peter is really exalted, and he hit a home run, did a great job. Which brings us to Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, starting at verse 21. So here's following Peter's declaration that Jesus is the Messiah. This happens immediately following that. Here's what we got. Matthew 16:21. From then on, Jesus began to tell his disciples plainly that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem, and that he would suffer many terrible things at the hands of the elders and the leading priest and the teachers of the religious law, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, all that good stuff. He would be killed, but on the third day, he would be raised from the dead. So Jesus is already prophesying that he is going to be killed, but then on the third day, he's going to rise again from the dead. Now you can imagine there's not too many people who have ever been risen from the dead. So this is really hard for the disciples to kind of take on. And Peter, who just declared that Jesus, you are the Messiah, the Son of God, says this, verse 22. But Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him. Peter took Jesus aside to reprimand him, and saying such things, "Heaven forbid, Lord, this will never happen to you." So apparently, Peter doesn't understand all the implications of Jesus being the Messiah, the Son of God. He had some idea of the prophecies, but looking at Isaiah chapter 53, not understanding that this same Messiah was the one who would be the man acquainted with sorrows, suffering, grief. So this will never happen to you. Verse 23, Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Get away from me, Satan. You are a dangerous trap to me. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God." So while just previously Peter was able to see that Jesus was the Messiah, now he's looking at things strictly from a human point of view, and that can happen for us too. One moment we can be looking at things with the wisdom that comes from above, as we've been looking at John, the wisdom that comes from above, and the next moment be looking at things with the wisdom that comes from our hearts, which are two completely different things. So Jesus says, you're just not looking at things from God's point of view. You're stuck in your own little trap here, and you're not really getting the whole point of this. And then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wants to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways and take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your soul? Is there anything worth more than your soul? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to their deeds. I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Wow. So the importance of seeing things from God's point of view, the wisdom that comes from heaven, as James calls it. In James 1:17, he says, every good and perfect gift comes from the Father above, and that's being the wisdom. So Jesus came from Father above. Good, godly wisdom comes from above, and we have the earthly wisdom. So the things that are of above, just as the prophet Isaiah says, my ways are not like your ways, are you don't think like I think differently. So God's ways are not like the way we think that things should be. And so Jesus is reprimanding Peter after Peter tried to reprimand Jesus and said, hey, you don't understand. Peter, you don't understand. And then he goes on and he says, you're trapped. Stay away from me. Don't get near me, because I don't need to hear your earthly wisdom. I need to continue to hear the wisdom that comes from my Father. And then Jesus speaks these really words that in some ways are disturbing, because I think about the Toby Mac song. It says, I don't want to gain the whole world but lose my soul. And you know what is it to gain worldly wisdom is going to gain you the world, but it's not going to gain anything for your soul. And Jesus tells us that every day we need to pick up his cross, that we need to die to ourselves and live for him. And it says, but if you try to hang on to your life, you're going to lose it. If you lose it for Christ's sake, you will gain everything. It's such an upside down kingdom. The kingdom of God is so different than anything we look at. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. Just looks so different than everything that we're used to. And then Jesus says, what will it do to what will you benefit if you gain the whole world? And we looked at this morning in worship. You know, we looked at the dangers of materialism and the dangers of accumulating things. And Jesus says, what will it do you if you gain the whole world but you lose your soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? And so that's a really important thing for us to look at, is that there is nothing in the world that is more important than our soul. And Jesus came, as he talks in Luke, as he spoke to Zacchaeus. He said, the Son of Man came to seek and save that which was lost. Jesus came to give up his life for our lives, and we are to give up our lives for the sake of the gospel, and to share the good news with people. And I think that's really pretty much self-explanatory to I don't want to gain the things here of earth if I don't gain heaven. So that's my thought. It's not a great thought, but it's a thought that Jesus wants us to live for him, to live for the kingdom of God, that all this stuff that we have here on earth is just temporary, but the kingdom of God is eternal. And so have a great week. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Blessings.